Herein lies an introduction to the texture picker. You may be familiar with inspectors which pop up when you hover over interactive objects or other residents, and you can click an eye. Now, texture picker isn't that closely related, but it does appear in various places, which is why I would bring up that parallel. For instance, if you are editing your profile, and let's go ahead and click edit, and you were to click on something, notice the texture picker comes up. It's always the same in here where it says pick texture, and a commonality is if you drag it, you can see there's this sort of shadow that's connected, this string that tells you which texture it is for. That helps you make the connection of which texture you are going to change if you're in fact going to do that. Notice that, but I want to revert that, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel. So the texture picker also appears when you're editing objects. So I'll close this, right click, edit, and if you select a face, for instance, like the top one here, and click the texture swatch under the texture tab, appropriately enough. Okay, and again, oh, look it. See, so there's user interface conventions, there's commonalities which tell you this looks like the same basic sort of thing. It's for a different place. It's for an in-world object instead of your profile, but it behaves similarly. And the only textures that will show up, notice that if I look for ones that are no transfer, they won't appear, but no modify ones though, they will appear. There is a bug right now in which objects, you shouldn't be able to select objects. That's just odd. But textures that are no modify, as you can see here, you could select and you could apply them to that face. If you have apply now selected, otherwise it won't apply it immediately. It will, if you select it, let you preview it. And only if you do select OK, this one's taking its sweet time. But if I was to choose OK, and then it would happen like that. Now, another convention in here, you notice there's a default, which just returns it in the case of this to the basic plywood texture. If you were to do this, let me apply that now. In your profile, like this, notice it would just make it the silhouette. Or if it were to be none, then the same thing in this case. Or if it's blank, then it's just blank white. Not much point in your profile unless you want to be completely a snow person or something of that magnitude. There is also an eyedropper, and by the way, this help is great. It will go into more details about some of these granular aspects, but the purpose of this tutorial is to show you how this one user interface element is found in different places. Now you might ask, where else might you see it? Another example would be if you go to your profile pics and you were to edit a pic. If I want to go into here and edit, and I was to click this again. So although the aspect ratio is different now, this is more of a rectangle and this is a square, it's still the same pic texture. And this also applies if you're going to edit a group. Let me see here, right in my groups. And then if you were to click on a group, and let's go forward to view the group profile. Again, here we have the group logo and symbol insignia graphic. And again, we can pick a texture for that. So yes, sounding like mad science here. These are various places in which you can change. And if you go to About Land, if you own land, there is yet another place. So let's go to About Land and let's go to Options right here. And here's a snapshot. So again, pick texture and the same controls apply. So hopefully that gets you familiar with how to operate that. Because once you're familiar with it in one part, you can transfer that knowledge into other aspects of the Second Life viewer's user interface.